Okay, so it's been a couple of days since I was last up here on the last video at the Black Stork's nest, and I've just made the 45-minute hike up. I'm not in the shooting place yet. I've just stopped on the rise above, and where I normally get a view down into the nest through the foliage. But thankfully, in a way, the foliage has now grown quite thick, even in the last couple of days. And where I normally could see the nest from this point and see if there's anything on it before descending to the location, today I can't tell if there's anything on it. I'll swing the camera around briefly so you can actually see what I'm seeing. So as you can see, it's all just thick foliage. So the nest is through there, but I can't actually see it now. So I'm going to make my way down really slowly, really carefully. If there is one of the birds on the nest, I might back off if I see that she's getting or he's getting too nervous with the noise that I will inevitably make trying to get down. There's so many dried leaves and twigs and things that I'm going to rustle and snap on the way down. So, okay, so hopefully I'll be able to get to the spot and set up the blind and the camera, in which case I shall speak to you from there. So incredibly enough, she was on the nest when I arrived, and I didn't see her until I got quite low down, so I was already committed. And I kept my eye on her the whole time, and she seemed completely unfazed by my presence. So much so that I haven't even put up the blind, because that would have created extra disturbance for her. So I didn't even bother doing that, but she sat quite calmly. Let's see if I can swing you around to see what I'm looking at. She's over there somewhere. It's just an absolutely beautiful scene. And the trees, the big plane trees that they've nested in are just absolutely stunning. And it just looks gorgeous. It's just a beautiful image. So I'm going to camp out here for a while and wait for the male to return. So hopefully he'll return either with food or sticks for her. Meantime, don't know if you can pick it up on this microphone. There's something very heavy-footed again down here. Hopefully it'll come into view and I can get a shot of it as well. Whatever it might be, we'll see. Fingers crossed for a deer. Okay, still no sign of whatever it was making the noise down there. In the meantime, I thought maybe I should put the scrim up if I can. So I did, just in case the male takes offense to me when he arrives. The female seems totally cool with my presence here. Okay, so frustratingly, the male flew back appeared out of nowhere, totally silently. Just suddenly he was on the nest, so I didn't have any chance to record him arriving. And no sooner did he arrive, and I think they switched places. Basically, the female left immediately, and there was no greeting or any kind of display like the white storks do. Usually when one of them comes back to the nest, the white storks, they have like a bill clapping and greeting. But these guys, they don't seem to do that at all, so that's interesting. Anyway, so she left immediately. I did record that. And now he's just stood on the nest on his own. I'm guessing again there's still no eggs. Because if there were, I'm assuming that he would be sitting on them rather than standing on the nest while she's away. But I don't know. Anyway, so now I wait for the female to come back again. Probably she's gone to have a feed. And whatever is in the undergrowth is still rooting about there. So I haven't had a chance to see what it is at all. I can just hear it rooting around, and mosquitoes are going again. Okay, so hopefully I've got 2 hours of battery left. It is now 5 o'clock, just gone. I've got 2 hours of battery time left. In 3 hours, sun goes down anyway. She's been gone for about 90 minutes now. And the male hasn't moved a muscle. He's just been stood in the same position for the whole time. I envy him that ability because I am so uncomfortable after 5 hours sitting here. I have less than an hour's battery left on the camera. And probably less than an hour left of light as well. This gorge is already in shadow pretty much. Just the top of the trees here. That side where the stork is in shadow completely. So it looks like I'm going to have to try again. I'm going to wait till the battery dies on the camera and then I'll call it quits. And pick up again either tomorrow or the next day. Make an early start of it. So I shall see you then. So good morning. It's about 6:30. Sunrise is about 7 a.m. I've got 35-40 minute hike up the mountain to the Storks. So I should be there for about sunrise, but because it's actually in quite a deep ravine, the tree where they're nesting, the sun doesn't actually hit inside the ravine until about 8:30, 9 o'clock, something like that. So I won't have enough light to film anyway for a while. But I thought I'd do this little piece to camera before going up there and settling in at the location. So it's been 5 or 6 days since I was up there, and I thought I'd give them a bit of a break from my presence there and let them settle down and lay their eggs and what have you. And basically, after struggling on the last couple of occasions to get the footage that I was expecting to get, I thought I should actually do some more research on the Black Storks in particular, which is something I should have done right at the beginning, before even starting the project, rather than going on the assumption that their behavior would be the same as the white storks. I was basically completely wrong, because their behavior is not like the white storks. And where the white storks when they greet each other, they do the whole bowing of the heads and bill clapping and that sort of thing, and all the nuzzling that goes on, and the very regular mating. The Black Storks are completely different. They don't do any of that. Their courtship, according to the paper that I found, is the main part of their courtship, that is actually on the wing. And they do this synchronized flying. And when I read that in the article, it actually reminded me that a couple of years ago when I think I was filming the jackals down by the lake, and a couple of Black Storks flew past, and were doing this synchronized flying, and I had completely forgotten about that footage. So I'm gonna see if I can dig that out and show it to you now. So, and it's a beautiful thing to see, actually, to see them flying like that. Anyhow, that being the case, I've been trying to film something that just doesn't happen, which is the courtship on the nest. It is very, very subtle, and the mating is not so frequent as the white storks. So I'm unlikely to actually get that. So what I thought I would do is I would come back up, see what kind of interaction I might be able to get with the pair, and then leave them to it, basically, until I'm back again from the UK. So I leave at the end of the month, and I'll be back mid to late June, when the chicks will be pretty well developed. They have a 32-day approximately incubation period, which means they'll hatch after I've left for the UK, and by the time I return they'll be 6 to 8 weeks on in their development. So I'll pick up the story there, and in the meantime I'll try and get some more B-roll and scene environmental shots, that sort of thing, to set the scene. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to head up now to the nest, and I shall catch up with you there. Okay, so I managed to get down here without disturbing the female of the nest, so she sat there quite comfortably. I'm assuming it's the female. So I just have to wait now for the male to come back and see what shots I can get of that. As you can probably tell, it's still quite dark. So the sun, it's gone past sunrise, but like I said, this is a fairly deep gully, gorge, ravine, whatever you want to call it, and takes a bit of time for the light to actually get down into here. So it's been about half an hour since I arrived, and I have a feeling it was the male that was sat on the nest, because without warning he got up, flew to another branch near me, sat there for a second or two and then flew off, and then 2 minutes later flew back, and now he's stood on one of the limbs of the tree above the nest, but he's completely hidden from view from another tree. So I can only see a little bit of his bill poking out, and he's just been stood there now, not sitting on the nest, which makes me wonder again if there's any eggs actually on the nest already, because he's just stood above it. So it's just gone 9 o'clock, which means I've been here for 2 hours, and there's absolutely no movement, except for the bird that's there, whether it's the male or female, has just poked its head round the limb that was hiding him from my view, so I can just see his head, but his partner is yet to appear. And the light is now starting to get better as well. It's starting to creep down the other side and fill the little gorge here with some light. is nice. All I need is for the partner to arrive. Okay, so it's now gone 10 o'clock, which means 3 hours I've been here and no sign of the partner. And the other one is still perched up, high up on that limb. No movement at all. And the only thing I've seen or heard is a deer barking behind the tree line here. So, quick tip for you is whenever you're doing something else, like I am now talking to camera, pouring a cup of tea from your flask, anything you might be doing, or even just in a lapse of concentration. It's just arriving. I was going to say just keep the camera rolling. That's them greeting each other. And the male just flew down. And he's gone. The female is just tidying up the nest, I think. A little bit of interaction between them. And she's now made herself comfortable in the nest. I can't see her head, just the tail end of her. She sort of tucked herself into the side of the nest. There's too many sticks and branches in the way. Let's see if I can zoom in on her face a little bit. Such beautiful birds. So I'm assuming now he's going to be gone for a few hours himself, which puts me in a quandary as to whether I should stick around and wait for him to come back. I hope that there's more interaction that I can record. Okay, so while she's sat quietly on the nest, and the lamb is gone, I'm gonna just hang around for a little bit longer to see, just in case he comes back earlier than expected. But otherwise, I think I'm gonna wrap up this video here. I'll spend the next few days in the forests around here, trying to get some more B-roll for the final edit, just to make it a little bit more of a richer edit. Birds, bees, trees, just the forests around, maybe some drone footage as well. So hopefully I'll bring you along on that trip as well. And I might also try and catch them down on the lake feeding. Although it is a bit of a trying to find a needle in a haystack, because there's not many of these birds around. And the lake is a very large area. So that being the case, thank you so much for watching. And I shall catch you again in the next one. Bye for now.